Hey, welcome to our first episode of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show, our ongoing miniseries where we break down key updates and design questions straight from the development of Shade Protocol. These episodes are built around the game's community engagement series, Devs Ask You or DAUs, where Kendall and the team not only show what's changing, but invite fans to shape the journey with them. Today we're spotlighting the Flute Spear, one of Shade Protocol's most versatile and stylish weapons. What started as a flashy throw-pull-flurry combo has evolved through community feedback and design tweaks. In this episode, we'll explore how its role in traversal, combat flow, and combo variety has grown and where it's headed next. Be sure to follow us and Little Legendary on our socials and YouTube channel, and be sure to join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice directly with the dev team. Links to everything will be in the description down below, and with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time! Kendall, I think the Flute Spear is a prime example of how the community collaboration that you guys emphasize within your Discord, I think this is a prime example of how much bullying can get you to change an entire mechanic or add an entire mechanic within your game. What I mean by that is, of course, the spear vaulting, but we don't have to get too much into that just yet. But at least to start, give us a basic background of how the Flute Spear is going to be implemented within Zura's toolkit.
I could tell you for sure. I mean, you're so right. This brings me back to high school. Like, this is crazy peer pressure and bullying. It's horrendous. Like, and I love it. Of course, we're being, we're joking about it. But so for everyone that's listening to this, I guess a little bit of context. So we have a Discord community. If you want to see a lot more of the day-to-day of Shade Protocol, you can join us there. We have a channel forum structure that we have. It's very easy to get into. That we have something called Devs Ask You. So those are what we call DAUs. And in there, I personally do, as a game director, I do every other day. I think right now we're a little behind because we're preparing for Gamescom as of right now. But normally we do, like, every other day we would put a question to the community with a little bit of an update. It's a mixture of both. And we started that just thinking, how can that hurt, right? Tell people about what we're doing and, be very open about the development of the game. Well, it's been a huge, huge, huge blessing because people are so smart, their brains are so big, and they can say so many things that are just impressive. And it's also been, I wouldn't say curse, of course, but it's been a little bit of a challenge to manage because it's heavy work to not only answer all the questions, but more than anything, like, realize that maybe some of the things that we're making could be done in a way that maybe is more enticing to the community. And, some things that we didn't think about. That's just what it is, right? So anyway, that aside, because I want to focus on the spear.
Yeah.
What happens is Zura, our main character, in Shade Protocol, she has instruments, right? So this is a very musical world. Zura is a replica, which is a type of humanoid robot made, they're alive and they're fully sentient. And these replicas have this connection to pretty much the fabric of the universe. Imagine, like, we live in the Matrix pretty much. It's not exactly that, but the entire universe is made out of code. And replicas are very connected to that thing, and they know what it is. But to us, to you and me, that code might be, just code, right? Ones and zeros and a bunch of code and functions and all calls and all that stuff. Whereas for replicas, it sounds like music. Like, that's how they see it. And if you really think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? A computer might not really think about code the way you and I think about code. They're made with it. For them, that's just the fabric of what they are. So for them, that might be what they consider their internal organs, their blood system, like, whatever, their nervous system. They might not think about it the way we do. So that's exactly what happens in this world. That's a little bit of background to explain why the Flute Spear is so important. So the Flute Spear is one of the first instruments you would gain. This is common knowledge. And what happens here is that these instruments are things that really mess with reality. They're meant to be tools that mess with reality, and they will alter the world around you. The main weapon that Zura has is the shield, so you'll always have that with you as the first weapon of the game. and then eventually you would come to have the spear, and the spear lets you do a bunch of very interesting things, and we are not going to reveal too much today, but conceptually just remember that every instrument is meant to alter the world in some way. For now, what we've revealed that it can do, which is not the entire kit, but it's enough to get people interested, is you can throw the spear. It throws like, it feels like a bullet. You throw it really fast.
Yeah.
And it pierces through enemies and pushes them back. It sticks to walls. And when it sticks to walls, you can jump on it like a trampoline. Or if you jump from below it and you grab onto it, you can use it pretty much like a trampoline, but like you swing on it upwards. So it gives you the same vertical height in terms of, it's quite a lot of vertical height. It's a big, big, big jump. That is, of course, one minor, well, not minor, but one of the components of all the things it can do. The flute spear, of course, is conceptually a flute, right? So it is, and Zura can play it. She can play every instrument. That's neither here nor there right now. But in terms of combat, when you're throwing the spear, it sounds like a flute, and of course mixed with a flying spear going at Mach 1 through your face. But it does have this feeling of sound that sounds like a flute, and it's 3-hit combo. It does have a 3-hit combo that you can do. You could throw the spear, and at this point you throw the spear, and you can hit a button again for it to come back to you. So when it comes back to you, it pulls enemies to you, and then you hit the button again, and she does like a flurry of attacks forward. So you could throw the spear, it pushes the enemies back a certain amount. If you hit it again, it will pull them back a lot more. So it pulls them to you a lot more than it pushes them away. And then you do your flurry of attacks, which is like a big AoE in front of Zura, and then it does a lot of damage. Very entertaining instrument to use. What's important for people to know, we'll probably have to say this on every podcast, is you keep every instrument at all times. They're all buttons. So it's not like you equip them. That's really important for people to get. So the spear is one of your face buttons in your controller, and you will be able to do, like, for example, like shield, spear, shield, for example. That's something you could do. You could do shield, axe, spear. You can do shield, spear. You could do any of the things like you could do spear, spear, right? So the idea is you don't have to equip them. They're just, once you unlock them, they're a button. That means you can use it all the time, and they're very powerful. The spear also is able to, because it's able to pull things to you or pull you to those things. It has a lot of interesting uses for puzzles, and we're not like super big on puzzles. We're more like, we'll have more platforming than that, but you will have some puzzles where definitely the ability of the spear to pull things to you, or to pull to take you to those things, is going to be very important. So that's kind of the core kit of the spear. Does it do more? Yes, it does. It does more. We haven't revealed those things that it can do, but it's your main tool to deal with airborne enemies, because you could, even though when you throw it, it goes in a straight line horizontally. We are currently designing a way where you would pretty much, when you hold the button, you can charge it, and then you can aim it. And when you can aim it, you can just throw it at enemies at a distance, of course. And it's pretty much like your main ranged weapon in order to hit enemies in the air. And of course, then pull them to you and all that stuff. So it's a pretty versatile weapon. And the kit is only going to evolve. So yeah, hopefully that's a good summary of what the spear could do. But yeah, jumping on walls, pulling things to you, pushing things away from you, hitting airborne enemies, and more.
What does the spear still need in terms of polish, visuals, VFX, sound design, feel, as of now, as of recording?
As of recording, I would say all of it, but it's because we are so obsessively unsatisfied with everything. We want everything to be perfect. But the truth is, if I'm objective with it, I think like the animation flow of the spear is just probably one of the best right now. It just looks so good. Like all of the motion is really good. It's really powerful. Like it's fast, but it also feels like it has weight. Like, so it's well done. I do think like the current, for example, I was talking to Durrani, which is one of our animators. He comes from Ember Knights and some of these other games. I mean, he's just a spectacular animator. And one of the things we were talking about is when you throw the spear, we added in the latest version, we added like a air burst. So when you throw it, there's like a shockwave of air that comes out when you throw it. It feels like it's breaking, to the sound barrier kind of thing. So it's, to give it a sense of power. It's beautiful. But then the spear travels, and it doesn't really do very much. It's like a thing in the air, just like a moving stick, right? So we got to change that and give it more particles and all that cool stuff, right? But something else we were thinking about is when you throw it, can we make it so that in the air there's like an air tunnel kind of thing, like it's split in the air, right? And you see it on the floor too. That's my hope, to add a little bit more of that sauce, right? To give it more of a, if the spear is really going is that powerful, then it shouldn't just represent that power in the throw, but it should be in the world, right? So maybe in its travel path, it should leave like that air burst kind of, it split the air, right? So what does that look like? And can we make that look really good and then use it if you throw it horizontally in the floor, right? If you throw it diagonally, obviously there's not going to be like a, it doesn't look the same, right? But in the floor, can we recognize the moment that we're throwing a spear in a horizontal line and then, draw this air burst in a straight line? So that's stuff, literally, we talked about this yesterday as of recording. So we don't know yet, but it's my hope that we get to do stuff like that and then, give it more of a sense of power that it has today. The sound is being done right now. Like I said, it has a lot of little sounds that feel like a flute. So I think it's kind of special in its own right. And that needs to be polished and looked into, because, it's going to be a thing that people are going to be like, huh, that's not the sound I expected, right? So getting that right is going to be important. And then painting it. I mean, we have a lot of sketches that we've done that people have seen, and then we have to spend the time to paint them. Painting pixel art is difficult and it takes time. So we do a lot of sketches, and once we like them, then we spend the time to paint them. So that's the summary of where we are with the spear.
Shade Protocol continues to be shaped not just by its creators, but by its community. Whether it's refining how story is told or rethinking player immersion, every DAU opens the door to deeper collaboration. Thank you again, Kendall.
Thank you.
This has been our first episode of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show. Want to help shape what Shade Protocol becomes? Join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice with the dev team directly. And if you like this breakdown, then stay tuned for more spotlights and interviews with Kendall right here on the Razzle Dazzle Show. Remember, the future of Amiria is still being written. We'll catch you on the next one.